Gold, 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 they just gotta have that gold. Gold, gold, they'll do anything for gold.
Welcome to Searching for Truth and Treasure in Alabama with Alabama historian, videographer, and speaker Jim Phillips. Jim has spent the last 40 years exploring and finding amazing artifacts on lesser-known sites in the state. He's here with us to discuss the how and where you can legally explore old, privately owned sites and find those amazing treasures from the state's past. Plus, he's going to tell you a story or two about hard-to-believe events he's encountered as he's toured the state. So let's get into it. Here's Jim Phillips. All right, everybody, welcome into another episode of Searching for Truth and Treasure in Alabama. Be sure to check out JimPhillipsAlabama.com. That's with 2 L's. And follow everything we're doing. Follow the treasures, follow the podcast, follow us on YouTube, and send Jim money. Welcome in, Jim. What are we talking about today, man?
Well, we're lucky I got here, but I made every light because you don't have a whole lot of time today. This probably be a shorter podcast.
Famous last words.
Yeah. Am I angry? Yes, I am. A girl once said, "You're so kind and you care about so many things and so sensitive to it, but you're angry about stuff in the world that you call just nonsense." And she said, "I think you're an angry angel." I think that's a good nickname for me, Angry Angel.
All right,
I care, but I get mad about a lot of things that are just injustice.
We can put you on TikTok as Angry Angel.
I can do these little dances like a little girl. You get $900,000.
That's right.
I'm in Jasper, Alabama yesterday, and George Lindsay is from Jasper. And no, people don't know who Sandra Posey is. I was born. What is it? It's a good little country singer from the 1960s. Anyway, I spoke to a church up there. The Good Seniors Club at the church. We had a lot of fun. After that, I went and met Bill. Bill's moved there from Birmingham. Bill used to work with me when I had my video business. Mm-hmm. And I was in the lobby of the Hyatt Hotel. And we were really busy doing video and had a modeling agency there, which cost me more money. Well, we had 30-something lovely ladies. Some could act. We worked with them with an acting coach and had some in commercials and all that. That's a story unto itself. But listen, anyway, Bill had these coins and he wanted me to look at them, as some people did at the church. And he's got all these Susan Anthony dollars and Sacagawea. I can actually say
Sacagawea.
it. Sacagawea. It's hard for me to say that for some
That's
reason.
the Lewis and Clark Indian.
Yeah. She's the Indian girl that traveled with Lewis and Clark and was their guide. And she was a brilliant, kind woman. So the United States honored her and put her on a gold-colored dollar. It ain't gold, folks. It looks gold. It's a dollar. And you spend it as a dollar. Susan B. Anthony dollars. They is a dollar, but people bring them out and think that's treasure. They're a dollar. I've taken Sacagawea and Susan Anthony as my date in metal form to Walmart and the supermarket. I better watch names here. And the cashiers stare at them and don't know what they are. Right. I had a cashier at Walmart scanning it, looked at it, stared at it, looked it up against the light, and scanned it. And I says, "It's a dollar." And you don't want to be mean. It's just a dollar. It's a metal dollar. They don't learn what money is, some of them. So
well, there's no need to anymore.
Well, that's what the guy behind me said. I was frustrated. I was laughing. He said, the kids today, they pay with iPhones. They don't even know what money is.
Yeah,
I said, right. But they're cashiers. This is currency. You get them at the banks. So anyway, Bill's got a ton of this. His father passed away. Bill's the kindest guy in the world. Mm-hmm. But my father passed away. I called him up, and he used to work for me. I said, "Could I compensate you to help be a pallbearer at my father's funeral?" He says, No, you can't. I said, "I'll do it free. I'm honored." Mm-hmm. What a great guy. Anyway, I went up, and his father passed away. Are these worth anything? And there were some silver dollars, and they were worn in the bullion value right now at about $23 per troy ounce. Mm-hmm. 90% silver. You're going to get about $19, $20 each. He had some of those.
Yeah.
He had some Indian head pennies that were common, and they're worth about 50 cents each, regardless of what the books say with average wear. Now, all these Susan Anthony's and Sacagawea are there, and they're just dollars. And there's bags of them, and they're state quarters, and they're just quarters.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of modern currency. If it says a dollar, it's a dollar, and also there's no treasure in that. And if you got these don't call me and tell me you got these rare silver 1943 pennies. They're still and every damn penny made in 1943 was silver. They're a penny. Now, they accidentally left some copper planchets in there. They needed the copper for World War II for bullets. So they had about 20 blank copper planchets. That's the blank that they stamped. And they got stamped as 1943 copper pennies. They're worth a fortune.
Oh, wow.
Likewise, at the end of 43, making these pennies, they're supposed to be steel. They switched over to copper for 1944, but they accidentally had some steel blanks in. There's a few rare 1944 steel pennies out there or in collectors' hands that are worth a fortune.
Right.
Anyway, I met with Bill. Bill worked with me when I had my video business and we had the modeling agency. We had this lady walk in. You sure I didn't do this on the podcast?
No, I hadn't heard this.
Where the lady walks into the office and she's dressed in like 1800s clothes, and I got models' pictures on the walls. We're in the lobby of the hotel. I mean, we got a glass wall, right? You can see, and people would wander in and out.
Yeah.
So anyway, she comes in and I say, well, anyway, too much. I've been listening to these podcasts too often. And I started back smacking.
Look, I'm trying to get Jim to stop listening to the podcast.
I'm back to doing this, smacking my lips.
Like you're doing now?
Video you did, I said,
yeah.
why you leave that up? I smacked my lips. So I'm smacking my lips now. Anyway, must be the new plate denture thing I got put in when I I'm blaming on that. Anyway, lady walks in. Oh, she's elegant. She looks like Cherie North. I keep telling you about women I've been in love with on TV. I never got to meet. Cherie North was one of them. She had the little puppets. Remember that? She was a doll. She's got her hair up in a bun. She's wearing 1800s gowns. She's wearing like white boots from the 1890s. She walks in, doesn't look at me. She's looking at the pictures of the girls on the wall. And I said, can I help you? And she turns and stares at me. Doesn't say a word. This is how.
This is typical
like
for you.
Say, typical for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you? What are you?
Yeah.
So I said, can I help you? And I said, these are the people that we have a modeling school here, and some of them are already actresses or acting. And she didn't say anything, and I said, where are you from? And I'll ask her why she was in the hotel, and she says, I'm just down here, something from North Alabama. She wouldn't explain. It was vague. And I says, where do you live? And she says, I live in an old home, 1800s home. You see where I'm going with this?
I do, yeah.
This is true. in North Alabama. She named a city. I won't go into that. And she couldn't tell me why she was here. And she was just charming. And I says, well, Bill, the guy I visited yesterday, I've mentioned this to him. I should have done it yesterday, but he'll tell me the same thing. Get to that in a minute. I said, Bill's in the back. He takes pictures. I says, you are absolutely lovely. I said, and not being fresh or coming on to her. Sure. I meant that. I said, I'd like to take a picture, and maybe if you're in town, if we're doing some kind of photo work or video work and put you in a commercial and get you paid for it. I meant that sincerely. Yeah. And she says, that's not possible. And I says, why is it not possible? And she said, you wouldn't understand. And then she just, there's something about her that's mystical. And I said, and I'm single, and I'm goo-gooed over her, but I'm going to be a businessman. I mean, really, it's like, golly, she's so charming. And I asked her again why she was there. She said, you wouldn't understand. So I said, well, could at least get your phone number, and when you leave Birmingham, maybe call you if you're coming back into town. She says, that's impossible. You won't be able to reach me. Remember the entity that in Central Alabama said, after telling me my purpose in life, says, I don't need your phone number. I know how to reach you, and when I do, you'll know it. Right. And I didn't add this. I called the fire station. He was standing in the fire station like a hobo. I asked the fire chief the next day, do you know of the guy that lived out, that was outside that looked like a hobo yesterday afternoon? He says, I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't know. He said, we didn't see anything like that. Anyway, she's mysterious. She says, there's no way I can reach her. You don't understand why. It won't happen. So I said, can Bill take some pictures of you? So she went back, and we have this wicker chair. We took some pictures of her. We got the film back. This ain't digital cameras.
Yeah, this is back the good old days.
They film. Well, there's digital probably coming out then, but we couldn't afford it. So we got the roll of film, Kodak or whatever. And we've shot some pictures of a high compression thing at a machinery shop or something for marketing purposes. It's on there. So Bill takes some pictures of her. And then we got more film left, so we take some pictures of another machine shop because we do a lot of marketing.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Anyway, we get the film. We get the film back, and I want to see it. And Bill's looking at it quietly, and I says, "What is it?" And I called him years ago, and I says, "Now, when we got the film back, all the pictures and machine shots were perfectly focused, but her pictures were foggy, and you couldn't see her."
Wow.
He said, just her face."
Oh, wow.
I said, "You're kidding me." "No, don't you remember? Their pictures were crystal clear, and her face might be a little bit to the left in this photo, and
Yeah.
I might have moved her to the right or a little higher. So it wasn't in the same place. There was a fog over just her face.
Wow.
You could never see her." And I says, "I don't know what's happening here." He says, "She's a witch." Now, that's Bill. He says, "No, she's a witch." And it's just a matter of fact.
Like that's just what it is.
Like, getting back to these things where I don't ask the obvious question. I mean, where are the pictures?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are the pictures?
Where are the
Bill
pictures?
doesn't know what happened to him. Why don't you keep something like that? Now, that makes it sound like I'm lying, but I'm the same guy when I was at Pinson High School, and the guy told me about how his grandfather told his father that they carried out jugs full of coins around 1900 and buried them in the woods, and the father died, and they never could find them and didn't know where they were, and all they had to ask was, what was the name of your grandfather? That's all you ask.
Yeah.
And you go back to the 1900 records, and you find the farm, and you go out there with the metal detector, and you get permission from the owner.
Y'all taking notes out there?
Yeah, and you
Just ask.
don't get on property without permission. I said something crude about hunting behind the church, and I says, the priest will shoot your ass off. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, Father.
But he will.
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. But they'll come out there with the police and tell you you're not to be on that property.
So that was
That's
a witch.
the witch
that
in
was
the
your
office. I don't know, but she was beautiful, and
Never heard from her
she
again.
was
Never saw her.
in my book prettier than Elizabeth Montgomery that played Bewitched.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, never saw her, never heard from her. But those photographs had a fog over them, and I didn't ask where the property was with it. Say, stupid me.
But you were young back then.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking like you do now.
Yeah.
Right?
I just did some silly things back then. I was smart in a lot of ways, but stupid in a lot of ways. All right. Anyway, the wedding anniversary. I'm with Bill editing a video. It's the Blount County Chamber of Commerce and History video. It's got Blount County history in it. And he's got a better editing system than I do. This is when nonlinear computers started. He's got it, I ain't. So I'm at his apartment. He's got his office there. We're editing video. And he's talking about when he got married. So I'm telling him that my wife and I got married so many years ago. And I said, in fact, we've got an anniversary coming up this month. And I go, oh my God, it was 3 weeks ago.
Uh-oh.
The reason for that is my wife decided to the last minute she didn't want to get married. And she wrote it on lipstick in my apartment on the window and boogied out. That's called off the wedding. My mother was pissed just sending all these wedding invitations. So we moved it a month. And that year I just got my dates mixed up what month it was. It went from the same date from 1 month to the next.
Well, I mean, that's a logical mistake you can make.
I'm stressed out over money and trying to get this video done. You know what it's like to be stressed out trying to get a video done?
Yes, I do.
And
Oh, yes.
your bank account needs that money in it. All right. So,
Yeah, I do.
So anyway, I rush home, and it's like 2 a.m. We were editing late, and I opened the door to the bedroom, and I hear the fan blowing, and the dogs are laying in there with her, and it's pitch black. And I just said in this humblest voice, I am so sorry. Now, she had been acting different for the last 3 weeks. There was some kind of detachment. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So I said, I am so sorry. Now, what's the worst thing your wife can say coming out of a dark bedroom when you peek in 3 weeks after you forgot the wedding anniversary? The worst thing she could say.
Don't worry about it.
Exactly. and it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah.
Got that?
I do.
That's
Yes,
the same wife. We're going to get to treasure in a minute. These are treasure moments in my life, though. I still sweat thinking about them. I'm in the line at the supermarket and been going there for years. And my wife came in for the first time with me.
Yeah.
Because she has a different work schedule. They'd seen her, didn't know it was her. And the cashier says, was that your wife that was in here with you the other day? We've never seen you with her. And I says, yeah, how many years have y'all been married? And at that time, it was about 33 years. And I said something like it was 33 or 34 years. And the cashier says, that's amazing. What's the secret to being married that long? And I said, this is the truth. I said, well, you have to let certain things that your spouse says to you go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
And the cashier says, like what? I says, like, can't you do anything right? This is the one that got him. What does it take to get rid of you? And all of a sudden, I didn't know I got like 3 people behind me in the line, and the market bust out in laughter. They're all laughing. And I turned around with a cold stare, and I said, seriously, truthfully, I ain't joking. And suddenly the mouths are...
Then they felt bad
Their
for you.
mouths are hanging open. They're staring at me, and you could hear a pin drop. And I just got my groceries and walked out of the
Oh, my
supermarket.
gosh.
All right. Got 3 words for you people in Dauphin Island. Talk about the missing gold cross on Dauphin Island. And I called the island today, and I said, I want you to check out my podcast. Y'all may find those interesting. And the lady had some customers come in and all, but they may spread that around. But I want to tell people on Dauphin Island, Jim's the real deal. We talked about me living down there in 1972. I'll say, give me 3 phrases that prove I'm the real deal. Jack's Beer, the Faubacker Brew,
Okay.
out of New Orleans. I don't think they make that anymore. It's 1972. Jack the Crow. If you are over 65, you'll know Jack the Crow. It was my buddy down there. He's a crow. And the Sea House Restaurant.
Sea House?
I don't think I know Jack the Crow doesn't exist. The hurricane got him. I think the Faubacker Brew's not made anymore, but that's the real deal on Dauphin Island. And
So those 3 phases are phrases.
phrases that anybody can relate to that. They're over 65. And we talked about the cross, my story that comes out of a French soldier's diary that the priest found in the archives of a Catholic church in France when he visited. These are what he learned, the facts from the diary from the soldier. Now, they talk about hunting for this cross in a well. If you Google it, Missing Gold Cross or Treasures of Dauphin Island, and talk about in year 1711, they throw a gold cross down a well. Maybe 2 crosses, I don't know.
Maybe.
But boy, this French soldier, he's not blowing smoke. To my knowledge, they never found it. The Height of a Man, I'm being repetitious from another podcast. Check it out with the precious gems in it.
Yeah.
Gold crucifix. It's a Catholic altar for Governor Cadillac, who's on the island at that time. You want to check that out. But let's go into some treasures here. True story, I get a phone call. This was about 2 years ago. I think it was right after COVID. And boy, my memory's going if I don't remember. It was either right before or right after. I told you seeing the UFO through the window of Starbucks. I said, was it 2018 or 19? It was October.
After COVID, I don't
It was
think
like
anybody
a quarter
remembers
to
anything
7. It was October. Maybe it was 6:30.
Yeah.
It was a Friday, but I'm not sure of the year.
Yeah.
But it happened. Anyway, again, I say anyway, I get a phone call, and lady says, are you Jim Phillips? And I said, yes. She says, do you do these history talks? I said, yes. Do you want to book me? She says, no. My mother passed away. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. The lady tells me she was elderly and ill, and she lived in Clanton, Alabama, and you did a talk down there. I said, that's going to be the seniors center, right, for the seniors? She said, yes. She says, well, she passed away. Now, get this. We found 1 note in her Bible. It was going to be cards, prayer cards. There was just one thing in the Bible. It was a note. Contact Jim Phillips and sell him my whiskey bottle. This is a Baptist woman coming out of the Bible, right?
Yep.
It says, I had met her. It's called I. Brickman. We talked about Soda Empire,
Yep.
the website. Look up Soda Empire, and it says just a brief glimpse into. Click that. Jerry in Mobile's got that website. He's got it on it. He had one already. I sold him this one. The lady's note, she had my phone number and the Bible, her mother, Baptist woman's devout lady's Bible, 1 note called Jim Phillips. I went over and saw the bottle, and I said, I think I offered your mother 75, and I'll give you 100. She sold it. I sold it to Jerry for 150. Now, there are rarer whiskey jugs. It was a jug, not a bottle. It's a jug. It says, I. Brickman, Liquors, Montgomery, Alabama. I researched this like 1912 to 1915. Not that old, but old nonetheless. Check it out on Soda Empire. It's what's called a canteen jug. You know what a water canteen looks like. It's rounded like a drum. It's that kind. Gorgeous bottle.
Yeah.
Came out of a Bible. the note. Can you believe that? I've got a book on eBay some years ago, and it's an original 1862 printing. I'm going to throw this out there again for the University of Alabama. I keep telling them about this, and I'm having so much fun with it. The book, 1862, I forgot the author's name, and he's what's it called, a pen name? He's got a pen name, too, 2 names. He's famous with one. He writes a book. He's a Southern fella. He's a plantation owner. He writes a book called Among the Pines. It's got the University of Alabama sticker in it. And the last time it was checked out was 1939. And I've got it in my possession with all the faded pages. They're all intact. It's got the brownish stains in it. It's got printing, something about U.S. Congress, 1862. That's when the library got this book.
Yeah.
The University of Alabama Library, which is a military school in 1862. And they got the Alabama Cadet Corps.
Yeah.
It's all men. It's less than 200. They train them. A lot of them become colonels. A couple of 3 are generals. All right, so West Point of the South, the University of Alabama is. Anyway, I realized I've got this book on eBay, and it's like a Sunday. And if you ever eBayed, I haven't eBayed in a while, but people sit back and they start bidding on the last 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got what's called watchers.
Yep.
These are people.
That's what I always did. I watched.
Right. That means you're interested, right? So
Yeah,
I got
for
a
sure.
lot of watchers. I
Yeah.
got like 50-something people watching, and I got it down for $250 now. This thing could go up to $500, which was actually overvalued, but watchers start bidding, and it goes up,
Oh, yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Right, I had something I listed for $50 and it sold for $477 in the last 10 minutes.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm curious about this. Last hour of the auction, I call a friend. And I said, he's giving me history books. Did you give me this book, Among the Pines? No, I didn't give that to you. So I call another friend and I said, did you know anything about this book? Yeah, I gave it to you. And he tells me a story about how he didn't get it, but a friend of a friend's girlfriend, let's just say accidentally removed it from the library in 1969 when I was a student down there. And the person that accidentally removed it from the library was the first cousin of the first person I called. What's the irony in that?
Wow.
He'd flip out if I said, your cousin accidentally took it out of the library.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ran up, said, oh my God, they're going to buy it. It's the University of Alabama property.
Right.
It's worth some money.
Yeah.
It's an artifact, right? Literary artifact. So I run up and I kill it's not the last hour. I don't think you can, nobody's bid.
Oh, okay.
And I think you got a little time to remove it. So I
Right.
canceled it because if somebody bids, you got to honor it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't remove it. So I pulled it off in the last minute. And I've still got the thing. And I called the University of Alabama Library, the lady in the acquisitions, and I said, have you got this book? And like I wanted to know something about it. She says, she read off the 2 catalog numbers. It's catalog numbers. I says,
Right.
you ain't got this catalog number. It's sitting in my lap right now. Do you think she cared?
Nah.
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 And I says, now when COVID subsides, I'll come down there and I'll return it and y'all call me.
And you'll have to pay the $7,000 book.
Yeah, overdraft fee. No way, man. And I didn't know who took it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to know. Remember Sergeant Schultz?
Yep. I don't know. I don't
no,
know.
I know nothing. I see nothing. That's me. I don't get involved in this. But being older, I'm sure the person that took it's 50% chance has died from old age. But anyway. Then I called the university. I showed it up like the coin I got when they took up Main Street. It's against the law of the Middletech, and I broke the law, and I got the coin in 1856 New Orleans Mint. So I waved it in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I broke the law. Arrest me, but it's your coin.
Right.
Put it in City Hall. An artifact from the dig of Greensboro Avenue. It's their coin.
Yeah.
I got it. This book is the library's dinner. I got it.
They don't care.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I called somebody else in the library and I said, I've got this book. I told them the story. It mysteriously disappeared in 1969. It's worth about $200-something they sell for because it's the original 1862 printing. Never heard back from her either. Got the book. It's your property. You find things like this, and you need to research what you find. You never know what you've got in your hands. This book is amazing. This guy's got a passage in there, and he's writing about the glory days of plantations. And just hold on a minute out there. He's not the racist you think he is.
Yeah.
This is a white man. Now, he and his friend are traveling like to Charleston, and they've got William with him, who I think is his name's like the black slave. And he says, Robert and I slept between the 4 posts. That's a canopy bed.
Right.
William slept on the floor as was becoming his stature. As a slave, you sleep on the floor. Cruel. And it's wrong and it's cruel.
Yeah.
Because it's part of slavery. Later in the book, the same man says, I am certain that the Negro, he uses the word Negro, I remember that the Negro is just as capable of achieving the same feats as the white man if given the education and the opportunity. I am certain that the Negro is just as capable of achieving the same feats. Something that is that not beautiful?
Yeah.
And there is a plantation owner. So that's a treasure unto itself. I haven't read the whole book yet. I want to read it before I beat on the door down there. And say,
Try to give it to him.
Take the damn book back, please. And go to City Hall, throw the coin down. It's your property.
That's right. That's right.
Put it on display.
All right. So when we were about to start this, you said something to me about hurricane breakers.
Yeah, that's the next thing I know.
So what is that?
And you love the interest of that.
I do.
One of the major hurricanes that hits Florida every few years, a Type 4, Type 5, hit the East Coast. And I don't remember which hurricane. It might have been Andrew. That was a biggie. Ravaged down around Miami. And this guy could not get storm insurance, as a lot of people can't, down on the beach. And the hurricane did right at $30,000 of damage to his storm. This is on the internet if you know where to find it. He metal detected, so he knew to go out on the beach, and you got that high tide mark, which is public property, up to where the seaweed is. Of course, the storm probably erased all the seaweed, you know.
Yeah.
Everywhere. But he metal detected the beach over a matter of days, and this is the truth. He found right at $30,000 of Spanish gold and silver, and because the storm washed it up.
All up there.
Yeah, so he right to just about the penny. He got the money. Got no insurance. He got his house fixed. Can you believe?
That's pretty good luck. So that's an even Steven for you right there.
Yeah.
So how long ago was that? You said back
several years
probably
ago.
Andrew? That's
probably
crazy.
15 years ago. I was a metal detector then. I remember the story blew my mind. But now you can metal detect beaches after storms.
Yeah.
And hurricanes are great, but you don't want to go out there where there's a hurricane. Again, I still think it's the same it was as I told you when the guy came out behind the Aldolphin Country Club and said, "Hey, boy, boy, you got to get off our property." I says, "Hey, I work for the state lab and the federal lab, and this is federal property up to the high tide. You can't run me off." And remember, he said, "Well, don't be telling other people. Don't let them know that."
Right.
So I assume that's still the law. But if you roam those beaches, and I see people on Gulf Shores doing it, don't you do it?
Oh, yeah,
You see them
absolutely.
out there middle,
Yeah, I've seen them,
and
yeah.
you can wade out in the water.
Yep.
A shark may like that too.
Yeah,
but
for
you
sure.
can wade out, with the waist and get you a waterproof detector and a long pole with a scoop on it.
Yeah.
And the water's clear enough, and your metal detector get a signal. You got a scoop with little holes in it, so the sand will go
okay.
through.
That's cool.
The holes are small enough to hold a coin in.
Kind of like a strainer.
Yeah, it's a strainer scoop, okay? And you scoop that. That's what to do. You see them pull up their scoops. And what you get on the beaches when you do that is, let me tell you, those copper tone fingers are slippery.
I was going to say a lot of jewelry, I
You
bet.
find your gold jewelry on beaches and in the surf, because that copper tone slides those suckers right off when you get water. So you walk those beaches, though, and if you know there's eastern Florida,
Yep.
East Coast, a lot of stuff can be found on that. And I talked about
Well, judging from the number of people that were on the beach when I was down there last Labor Day, if just 2% dropped something, you could be a millionaire because there were so many people.
And I've never metal detected the beaches. I told you
I've never metal detected, but just the number of people, if they're losing stuff, you're going to find some stuff.
This is going to be interesting, me calling Dolphin Island. I called an office that's involved with tourism down there, and the lady, she finally found my website, and I told her, click the one that says Dolphin Island. So that thing's going to ping pong around down there. And I should have said things like, I've got some investors, and we got these giant cranes and backhoes, just like Oak Island. We're going to come down and redesign your island.
Yeah.
It's like, and God bless the guys on Oak Island. I told you, I talked about how slow they were. They were not. It was like MTV. It was bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam, bam. I think they've put a little more action in it.
Or maybe they're running out of money, so they got to wrap up the show, so they're trying to get everything in.
They actually got my interest. I mean, I was interested because of the rocks they were digging up, and what they say is interesting. I think the show's got redeeming value, and it's got excellent value for people that are intrigued by it, and I can see why they would be. It's a good show. And of course,
yeah.
the treasures, what they're making. So, my website, Donate. There's $20 more in that account.
Oh, all right.
I put the 20 in
Oh, did you?
yesterday.
Just to make
I
yourself
went
feel
in
better.
and says, "Listen, this is kind of this is a
You just wanna make sure it's working.
hibernating account. And I got a website now. People may donate.
Yeah.
What is my balance? It's low." She says, "Minus 52 cents." I'm not making this up. Minus 52. So I talked about how Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
she could have on a website, send me money.
Yeah.
I only have $800 billion, and people will start sending her tons of money.
Right.
So I say I'm going to reverse this. Taylor Swift, send me money.
There you go.
I want to tell you this as a compliment.
Yes.
When my daughter was like in high school, just beginning and started her dating,
Yep.
I sit in my favorite Starbucks. I need to get money from Starbucks.
You sure do.
Enjoying their great coffee, watching those sunsets.
And those UFOs.
Yeah, the UFO appears through the window, and
Yeah.
everybody's just working their iPhone and don't see it.
Right.
And I call the iPhones iPods because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not. But anyway, I'm sitting there. There's the but anyway.
Yeah.
And they play all kinds of music. They play Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
They play rock music, Mick Jagger, and they're playing this beautiful young girl singing about watching the sunset. I said, "How that is a beautiful song." It's Taylor Swift. 'Cause
Yeah.
I asked,
Yeah.
"Who is that?" That's adorable. I love that song. It's Taylor Swift. So Taylor, I plugged you,
There you go.
and I did it honestly. It was adorable music, and I'm in my 60s listening to it. It's just adorable. So, I think $5,000.
Yeah, that should be an easy thing for Taylor.
Look up JIMPHILPS Alabama.com.
Jim Phillips,
Alabama.
Alabama,
One
with two L's in Phillips.
Lower caps, Jim Phillips Alabama, one word.com. Taylor, she's an awesome talent. She really is.
Hey, look, if she would just say your name,
That would do it. My good friends.
You would get found
as
everywhere
She
then.
said my good historian friends in Alabama who love my
there you go.
music and used
Yeah.
to listen to it at Starbucks. If you
Yeah.
folks would just send him some money, that would
that'll help for sure.
I'm going to just ask anybody I mentioned. As Frank Sinatra's deceased, but I love Nancy Sinatra singing. You
Oh,
only
yeah.
did twice. Nancy, if you're out there, you can send me $5,000 or say to my good friend who loves my song, "You Only Live Twice," which was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she thought she couldn't sing that kind of music. And
Really?
John Barry
She
told
was
her.
wrong.
John Barry says, "You'll be great in it." And
Yeah.
she was awesome.
In her jeans, man. She had to be good at it.
Yeah, and then you can come out to Alabama and walk all over me with your boots. That was her song. These boots are made for walking.
Boots are made for walking.
All right, now listen, we're going to fade out with this one. I want you, if you're into coins, I told Bill yesterday, God bless you, Bill, seeing you again made my day, and your little dog Bear has got a little beagle.
Oh, yeah.
So sweet.
Cute.
And again, since we're talking about dogs, if you listen to what I'm telling you about this blue book and photograde on coins and stuff, you make money following my advice and the things you learned from me on this, as little as it may be. I want you to take 10%. Say, well, I made $100 I wouldn't have made, but I followed Jim's advice.
Yeah.
Take 10% of that, and I want you to feed the poor, help the poor, the needy. And I always say, you got single moms out there struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Single moms trying to clothe and feed their children. You got children going to school hungry. They really are.
Yeah.
So if you can help people like that, and then help stray animals, find places that rescue animals too, and do that. God bless you. Try to do that. I can't make anybody. I'm just asking you. Now, I'll give you a little advice here, as I told Bill yesterday. Bill, you want to take my blue book? And the blue book says there's a red book and a blue book. You buy the blue book. It says in there, the blue book reflects prices that a coin dealer, honest coin dealer, and most are, I'm sure, will pay you for your coins. Actually, unless it's a very rare coin, you're going to probably get about 75%. My experience of what the blue book says. And it had in there their wheat pennies Bill has is worth a nickel. They're not. You're going to get a penny or 2 cents
Yeah.
if they are. And your 1943 silver pennies ain't silver, people. They're steel. And all 100 trillion of them made that year are steel. They're not rare. That's a 1943 penny. But buy a photo grade book. They're called photogrades. They're going to have pictures in it.
Right.
When you get into old coins, remember coins have bullion value if they're gold or silver, and even the copper ones have numismatic value.
Yep.
The rarity of the coin, how rare is it? Learn about mint marks. Where were they minted? How rare are they? But the wear, how much wear is on a coin will determine the value. The less wear or no wear, meaning uncirculated, will bring you a lot of money, even for some common coins. All right, the photo grade book will tell you that. There's about 3 versions of it. It's got pictures. It'll have in there, here's a coin, 1901 barber quarter. And it says, about good. Boy, I can barely see anything in it. Then good, I can read the date. It's weak. And then very good. Oh, here we go. I'm seeing lots of detail. All the way up to mint state. Learn that.
Yeah.
And then you go to your blue book, and it grades the value of the coins according to about good. You will learn how to appraise your coins yourself, which I do when I appraise coins. I sit down with people and I have class. Before you sell your coins, or you just want to know what they're worth.
Right.
We'll go over them, okay?
Yeah.
And I do that. I charge a little fee for doing it. And
That's good knowledge to have. And then you can just always be on the lookout because you never know who you're going to run into that says, hey, I got some old coins. And you can be the expert.
Well, that's what I started meeting people. And
Yeah.
they trust me. They know. And they say, Jim, can you look at my coins? And I do that. And I've done some appraisals free. And I hate telling people that certain coins are common and all, but it's just the facts.
Yeah.
So, contemplating, donating, remember?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we want to do something. I want you, if you're looking at that square, it says donate.
This is on JimPhillipsAlabama.com.
I want you to sit there and think about this, and I want you to hear this.
And that's what you need to do.
Right.
All right, everybody. So remember, JimPhillipsAlabama.com. Donate to help him continue these Alabama searching treasures and all the good stuff he's doing. If you want to book him for a talk, you can do it from there. You can get his information, email him. But we look forward to another episode next week coming soon. We'll figure out what's going to happen to Jim between now and then because you never know. Let's hope none of the witches are following him around town, and I hope he's not leaving here in my studio with him. So, all right, Jim, we'll see you next time, man. Thank you.
Gold, they just gotta have that gold, they'll do.
Thanks for listening to another episode. If you have questions for Jim Phillips or would like more information on his speaking availability, visit his website at JimPhillipsAlabama.com.